Diamonds! Hello guys, welcome to my Golden Dragon reaction video. Today we're watching some actually saying I added a block Mojang multi market. So the craziest stuff is I got a copyright from where the guy said how a biological dragon would be, and it was taken off without warning or and it didn't tell me to take it off. I mean, I didn't see it for copyrighted, but that ain't fair. But anyways, not a problem on practice. So check out Action's Den and watch the video. And we're gonna walk 30 minutes down. Guessing you're watching.
I remember back in 2018, Mojang let us vote on one of
that was
3 biomes to update and new blocks and stuff. We chose between the savanna, taiga, and desert, and eventually we got foxes and sweet berries. But what if we just added a new block to every single biome? Well, I did, and now I want to show you these new blocks and tell you why I added them. And well, I decided to add thatch to the plains biome, and the reason is because we saw Minecraft add the new straw beds, and honestly, hay bales are such a difficult block to build with. I mean, look at this, it's this yellow block, and we got these red lines in it. So now we have thatch, and this is just a much cooler block, and actually has stairs and slabs. So my thought is you could use it as a roofing block on some of your houses, and it works really nicely with something like oak wood here. And you might be wondering how you craft thatch, and instead of doing 9 for a hay bale, you just kind of do 4, and then
smart, and you use 7 for stairs, 7 for thatch, 6 for the wall, and just 3 for stacks around.
Boom, you got a thatch block. So early game you could probably imagine building your house out of this, and it looks pretty nice, and it's super easy to gather the materials you need for it. And then another plains biome we have in the game is the sunflower plains, and there's not much you could probably add to this biome to make it more interesting, so why not make a craftable block?
Never should have the biggest concept of a lava house, right? With haunting, and it's a cool idea where you get the speed from the nether. So if you attack it, it's like a bull, it charges at you like a boat.
Block. And this is a cool little crate of sunflowers you can craft, and it kind of looks like a bit of gold at the top, so maybe you could use that in a mine shaft. And if you stack this up like so, it actually looks kind of like a ladder, so there's a lot of utility with this block, but I kind of imagine this block could be used in a market stall.
Ooh, a market stall. If Minecraft adds this, it would be it's a crate and you can put different stuff, just one type of stuff. But the cool thing is, villages is this.
Like a mine shaft, and if you stack this up like so, it actually looks kind of like a ladder, so there's a lot of utility with this block, but I kind of imagine...
They have stove, villages have stove, but it ain't really good. Maybe they just put this design, and this because the more stove design, you got 4 tenders in your life, that will still could help with variety of a civilization. And just reflecting out of what I'm saying is, pets, it's a low on health, 4.5 2.5 cost, dogs, they don't attack and run.
Imagine this block could be used in a market stall or maybe decoration for your garden. I mean, overall, this is just a pretty block. Look, you could even use this as a flooring if you wanted to. And the third plains type biome we have is the meadow, and honestly, this is one of my favorite biomes. I think it already looks beautiful, but what could we add to it?
Another flower, Another flower, a flower bush. We got bushes, right? A bush with flowers, There are bushes, another type of flower maybe just for rose, and a bush with flowers.
To make it more interesting. And my thought was this block, alpine gravel, so it's kind of like a mixture between sand and gravel. And this block was actually inspired when I went to visit Mount Rainier in Seattle, and I thought the meadows and creeks and streams there were just really pretty, so that's why I think this block is just a really good fit. And you guys know me, I love my block gradients, that's why I made alpine gravel like this in between light gray.
Oh, because the colors we don't have in Minecraft, right? Or just a music color.
Concrete powder and diorite.
If you want something a very, let's say white, but white wood, but what I'm saying, right? There's some colors that aren't to look, what I've seen is There's a lot of purple things and...
So it could look really nice in certain building applications. And the next biome to talk about is actually the oak forest. And these have had a little bit of iteration over the years. I mean, we recently got leaf litter and bushes, but another really great foliage addition to oak forest would be clovers. And this idea was...
I feel like this is taken some stuff. This is like an eye, one eye, a hat, a head, a fan, or a tail, and
bushes, but another really...
and 2 legs to help it like move.
A great foliage addition to oak forest would be clovers, and this idea was given to me by my girlfriend who just said she wanted more plants in the game, and I kind of agreed. And I feel like Mojang would go in this direction, because we have yellow, we have pink, and we have like these brown kind of carpet layer flowers going on here. So something green to go along with it, like that doesn't seem like a stretch. It seems like something that would fit really nicely into the game. Okay, now I'm covering the old growth birch forest and the regular birch forest in one, but when Mojang revealed the concept art for the birch forest, I can't remember what year it was, but I'll pop it on screen, you can actually see a hollowed out log in the picture. So that's why it's now right here in the...
With a cool idea. Because how you want that to? You can turn, it's like an idea thing. I don't want to do it. No. So it's like, I forgot his name, but like, you got an idea of it's a color red. We don't give you like a blank field, it's a graph. And you can go around here. But if you can, you get like a quarter of it, like a block. You get a quarter. Like a cube, like not a block, a cube. Like you get maybe 4 cubes. Like 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 would make a slide. Alright? Which more version of it? Cube here. A cube. A cube here. A cube here. Right? And you could do something. With this you can make a variety, like a block of the cube here, a cube here, like across, a cube up here, and a cube here, with something greater. 4 cubes make a slab, part of vertical. Finally adding slabs to Minecraft. That's a good idea.
Game, and you can actually crawl through this hollowed log. If I go ahead and get a trap door and put it right here, yeah, there we go. We can actually crawl. Whoops, get that grass out.
You know what's stupid is like the answer they just found out. They can hang from the ground, but they can like reach onto the wall. If you put it on a wall plate, if you go up here, it's real clear, and down here it's steep. And on the side.
My face, we can actually crawl through here. And of course, if you add it for 1 wood, why not add it for all of them? I think this is a pretty easy change Mojang can make. I'm not exactly sure why they haven't yet, considering it's been in official concept art already.
Yeah, it could be good. Cool. We can make tunnels. You can make a tunnel base. It's like you've got a contest, you need to through, and you have to quickly go. And I find
ready. And one of my favorite forest biomes is the flower forest. It's already so pretty, so like, what do we add to make it even better? And to me, there was only one option. It was just adding more flowers. Like, what could work in the flower forest? That's right, more flowers. So what about a flowering vine?
And what about these? Each tree is a block flower.
It basically functions like a regular vine. It's just brighter, and it actually has flowers on it, so that's pretty. I feel like I don't need to do much convincing to get this in the game. Kind of just say, hey, let's make the flower forest more pretty. If we look at the way regular vines look on a structure, like, it looks cool. It adds some...
It's cool, it shows it's old, like, it shows how old it is, like how long it's
detail, but sometimes you want a little more color, and that's where I think flowering vines kind of come in. They definitely, like, they really vibrant. They add such a beautiful pop of color.
I don't know why Mojang haven't added at least one new vine type if you got normal vines. What about like vines with flowers, things like this? Or a vine, or like, so these are like jungle vines. What about like, cherry type of vines, like it's pink.
Anyways, the next forest is the dark forest, and I really struggled to come up with a block for this one, because I imagine Mojang wants this place to feel very dark and mysterious.
Yeah, I've got an idea. You know, the haunted manor or mansion for the pillagers. It could be like more bigger, like 3 stories and a bigger pillager outpost in a cool corner. With a new 2 or 3 less or more new pillager types, better loot and a bit more dangerous. And a Voltus, you can get someone from dying, right? In raids, you can get. I'd say it should be more easy, more harder to get tokens, right? Like in a raid, you have either 35% or 45% chance to get a token in a raid. But in a pillager mansion, you find in a Voltus, you have a 45 to 55% chance to get a token of
And it's already got
undying.
mushrooms, and they probably don't want it to be super vibrant and all that. So, what if some of the dark oak trees were actually infected with this block called gnarled roots? And the idea is that it's slightly retextured mangrove roots, and also it's this really cool purple. Like, we don't have this kind of purple block anywhere in the game. I think the closest color we have to it is like structure block. You can't even use that in survival. And it also looks pretty similar to mud. I kind of imagine this working in like a fantasy swamp area. Like, I actually worked on building this custom fantasy swamp area, and my thought was like, what if some of these trees were infected? I don't know, I think it gives off a pretty cool fantasy look, and it's something I feel like Mojang would actually add to the Dark Forest because it doesn't stray too far from the vibe they're going for there. I mean, look how nice it is with Blackstone. I just absolutely love this block. Now coming up on the Pale Garden, which is one of those biomes that added something I've been...
I want the Pale Garden to feel like right? Like maybe something like, maybe, you know the creatures? Like, they walk for free, right? In a weird way.
wanting for years, which was a white wood. But, you know, what's the opposite of a white wood? Well, it's a black wood. And
yeah. But, it could show villages like you find a big Pale Garden, it could show villages or a pillage. How would you get
so I thought it would be cool to add this burnt hut structure.
How do you get it? The charcoal, like, you get it by burning it, or cooking it. Like you burn it, like you fire and it doesn't actually burn, or it's just like, it's a new type of
Structure to the Pale Garden, because there's no structure currently, and this obviously has, you know, fences, stairs, slabs, fence gates, all that stuff. And the cool thing about this is it is the darkest block with stairs and slabs in the game. The darkest block obviously being black concrete, but for dark stairs and slabs we really only have black stone, so what if we had a little bit of a step up? And also I think the idea of someone living in the Pale Garden but their structure is now burnt, I don't know, it just creates some interesting lore opportunities. And in stark contrast to the Pale Garden, we have the Cherry Grove. And honestly, again, I didn't know what block to add to this one in the beginning because...
I got an idea.
Well,
we got the mushroom, the normal cow, the flower cow. What about the cherry cow? What about the cherry flower cow? They have the flower cow, the cherry flower cow, and the lava cow.
Oh, it's the Cherry Grove. It's already like the most beautiful biome in the game. So I came up with this idea. This is the cherry petal screen. It basically is like a glass pane, but it's cherry petals. And there's definitely some cool applications for this block. And the first is that it actually creates a sort of interesting wall. So previously, when we would do stuff like this with glass panes, is we had to use iron bars, and then, you know, the glass connects and it's cool. But of course you can see through the iron bars. Well, this is the first type of this block where it's solid, and so you could create structures out of this. Additionally, if you place just one down like this, you get this cool post that's actually just like a cherry log texture. It's just really thin. And this right here is just something we don't have in the game, and it works really nicely with nether brick. But my original thought with this block is that it's actually a room divider. It looks kind of like one of those screens you might see in someone's home, you know, separating rooms or whatever. Now, the taiga already has sweet berries and foxes. It's got its update, so I'm going to be really petty with this edition. This right here is the golden pod. Yeah, it's basically a cocoa bean, but it's golden. And why are we adding this to the taiga of all biomes? Because honestly, this one doesn't make a lot of sense. Well, we're adding this because I think the golden dandelion sucks. I think it's a bad feature. I think they add...
I mean, it's kind of that texture forever, but I mean, cool, but why? I mean, yeah, but like, it shows lords and stuff, but like, I mean, right. So what does this thing do?
Added this, and it's lazy. It's a dandelion retextured. So that's why I made the cocoa bean retextured. You look, at the very least, I'm not taking a yellow thing and making it more yellow. What I'm doing
What does a cocoa bean do? Huh?
is I'm taking a brown thing and making it golden. It's genius. Just trust. Yeah, okay, we're moving on to that. And we had the old growth spruce taiga, which is one of my favorite biomes. I know a lot of biomes are my favorite biomes, but this one really is one of my favorites because it reminds me of the redwood forest, which
It's not plain to say. Watermelon. You can use watermelon, but it ain't children. It's made. Minus business will not go to the vine, and there's a connection to measuring, and it is actually connected to the stem. Because like, the vine could just grow up, and the watermelon being turned down so it connects. And you can place the watermelon bush, which then rename it to watermelon, and you can have slices, 4 slices, and golden watermelon. You can eat it the most. You can't actually eat watermelon. Are you use proportion?
frequented a lot in my life, and something that is in the redwood forest.
Wait! I've got an idea to help him. For us then. Right? The cocoa bean, the golden cocoa bean. Cocoa beans are used for cookies. You could use it to make golden cookies, right? Which could help give you effects. You could give it to colors. Cows should have children, right? And more butter. But like, it could give like chocolate cookies, another cookie.
What I'm doing is I'm taking a brown thing and making it golden. It's genius. Just trust. Yeah, okay, we're moving on. And we have the old growth spruce taiga, which is one of my favorite biomes. I know a lot of biomes are my favorite biomes, but this one really is one of my favorites because it reminds me of the redwood forest, which I've frequented a lot in my life. And something that is in the redwood forest is red dirt. Like, the dirt sometimes is very red. Maybe not like this. This is a little more fantasy, a little more Minecrafty. This is called ferruginous dirt. And the idea is that it's just dirt with, like, iron deposits in it. And I think it looks really cool in the old growth taiga, but they do have one cool functionality, and that is that if you were to dig straight down below this ferruginous dirt, you might just get lucky and find one of those iron veins. The dirt is red, that means there's iron in it, which means if you go down, there's iron below. It doesn't make any sense at all geologically, but this is Minecraft. Now next up we have the snowy taiga, and I'm cheating a little bit with this because I'm actually adding the block to the snowy villages. And I believe these only spawn in snowy plains, so yeah.
Wait, they have lanterns, right? How come villages, other villages, think of another village? We got this village, Tiger Village, small village, but like, the other villages are just Spruce Village, Oak Village, and I said that's every villages. I can't think of any more. And Ice Villages, but like, they have the sticks, a block and torches. Why is that? It could be. I just want them to update the lantern. They do the road to be more difficult. Maybe gravel for dirt, money, and like maybe a stone wall, a stick or two, and a block, right? Or wait, a stone wall, two fences, a trap door, right, fences, and then lanterns, all I could do but then like maybe three or two, a trap door on top, and then on the side 4 more fences. You put a lantern to show that a bit more evolved, like more smarter.
I mean, it's a little misleading, but block for this biome nonetheless is a crate of berries.
This is what I'm saying, like they make a crate and you can put stuff in to make cool blocks, and you can right click and you just keep on right clicking and you can get as much. You could like hold like maybe 2 or 4 stacks of one item, like maybe flowers, berries, like food that grows. That's a cool idea.
And I think this is just a cool way to bring more life into the village. Like, look at that.
Yeah, like maybe it could be like something like the farms are like a bit more sophisticated. Like you could update the village, like just like one more, like a fence, two more, and a stone wall. Maybe details, and they have like golems, and like they do better clothes, and like they have like a few more blacksmiths, making. But they keep them at the same, like not more rare, but like maybe they could have 2 blacksmiths, like normal village, or tiger village. I don't know what this village is called. Could have just 1 or 2, both common, or not, I don't know. So I reckon to be 3, but they are like specialties at doing blacksmithing, or maybe they don't have a choice. Wait, and I think, you know that gold block? I think like gold, diamond, netherite, iron, money. I think it'll be cool if you get shoes, right? Like shoes of the, like all, like maybe coal, copper, emerald, gold, diamond, netherite, and you get shoes, right? And you can place it on more, like windows, you have this yellow windows, but you don't want to place blocks, you can get shoes. And the size, making it a cool, like, window to show your wrist.
That little pop of color in this otherwise very brown and very white area. And similar to the sunflower crate, you could probably...
See, yeah, what I'm saying, different souls, It could be like, with a new, like, wool, it could be like for this, it could be like yellow, and for this, just maybe red, Red, white, yellow, white.
Imagine this being used in like some market stalls. More realistically, I think Mojang would just add a crate block, and then you could add like any plant you want into the crate block, but you know, this is a cool idea anyways. And then for the snowy plains, we have icicles. Honestly, we just need this block in the game. Like, why haven't we had this yet? I think it's inevitable.
I mean, we just got like, what it's called, it's like, we got the same version, create something like that. That one's new, but this is a bit more rarer. You could find one of these vines, but you don't get it. Like, it can give you a fleeting effect. And this because it's 1 half extra damage, and gives you the fleeting and slowness effect.
We've already got dripstone, we've got sulfur spikes, next up is icicle.
Oh yeah!
Like Mojang, just make it happen. Just do it.
And sulfur dripstone to give you nausea. For 5 seconds,
and please add like icy caves. Those would look so cool. I once saw in one of Mogswamp's videos where he built like a custom icicle cave. I thought it was awesome. I knew we needed icicles, and I had to add it in this mod. Another biome icicles would look good in is the ice spikes biome. You can probably imagine these having like icicles on top. But anyways, that's not the block I decided to add to this one. The block I decided to add was chiseled packed ice, and this block just looks really cool. It kind of looks like there's a flower pattern inside, and I thought was on some of these really big ice spikes. Imagine there was like some chiseled packed ice in here. I don't know, it just gives it some visual interest, and it makes it feel a little more fantasy. Like, you can imagine this is like an ice flower or something. The frozen river, though, was one of the hardest biomes to come with a block with. I mean, it's a river of just ice. What are we going to add to this? Well, I'm glad you asked. We're going to add sheet ice. And sheet ice, I mean, it kind of looks like packed ice, does it not? But it's actually a lie, because if you stand on this for more than 2 seconds, it just turns to water. My thought was this could create some cool parkour.
If you want ice, it would break each one of the water thanks to... I don't understand. Pardon me, you can like do something like parkour, yes. And if you're like, maybe like you was made to
challenges where it's like, oh, you can't stand on this for more than 2 seconds, otherwise, oh, it just turns to water, and then you can't complete the parkour. It also just looks sus when you come across this. Like, what is that? Alright, the desert biome is like the epitome of bland biomes, but we did get some cool stuff. Like, we got cactus flowers recently, but this structure right here, the desert well, has been pretty forgotten. If I remember correctly, this structure was added and then, like, literally hasn't been updated except had suspicious sand. So what if we just replace the suspicious sand with something down here?
Yeah, it could be like a place.
So what if we just replace the suspicious sand with something down here? And the new block for the desert is this stuff called sabum slate. And at first down here,
We could do it more economic, but we could do it normal, right? Or you could find like 1 in 10 chance for 5. You find a frozen block, and it's covered up with sandstone. And it could be like, you could also do for like pathways. This year, it could have been a red where there was village.
So what if we just replace the suspicious sand with something down here? And the new block for the desert is this stuff called sabum slate. And at first glance, it's like a pretty, normal, basic looking block. I mean, there's nothing special to it. It's kind of a cool pillar. But if you take a pottery sherd to it, boom, boom, boom.
I mean, I'm not really, that's the idea, but I'm not really like, something saying like, oh, Minecraft, everybody is like this. Yeah, but no, I'm not really into like, I'm just enjoying the game. It's just basically something, building, or challenges, but I don't like, but what I think would be good, not think really good, but what I do want to function, but say at the end is, like, you could put colors on these servers, just for pictures, not the whole block.
You can attach patterns to the sides of these pillars.
Yeah, and it could do like crazy, like you need a white coloring.
So basically the pattern from the decorated pot, just moved it onto this slate block. And of course the desert well, maybe there'll be some suspicious sand around that you get some sherds from. And of course the desert well, maybe there'll be some suspicious sand around that you get some sherds from, and then that's where you learn
See? I'm saying, you could have just put it on the roof, right? You can't!
What these are all about. And we've got this big post here because I thought it'd be cool if you could mark like, oh, my breeze rod farm is that way, or maybe down this path we have the heartbreak sherd because
you, just you, building your app on base 44.
Anyways, moving on. And, or maybe down this path we have the heartbreak sherd because anyways, moving on, we're now in the jungle, which is my favorite biome to build in just because of how lush the grass is. And this biome is where Tangled Bloom would spawn. And at first glance, it just looks like a little wart on the jungle tree. And yeah, I mean, if you don't see the top of it, it's actually a plant.
Some tree
on the jungle tree, and yeah, I mean, if you don't see the top of it, it's actually a plant, so let me place it down here. So it's kind of like cocoa beans but big. It's got this really cool purple texture that, I mean, honestly, the closest color we have to it is nether bricks, so from a building perspective, this would be really cool to work with. But the idea is that if you put this in a crafting table, you'll get something called burgundy dye, and that new dye is why we're in the bamboo forest, because if we take this bamboo and we dye it with the burgundy dye, we'll get stained bamboo, which obviously has stair and slab variants, and I think this looks so cool, and it's actually pretty similar to what we see in real life when people burn bamboo. It has a very similar color, but in this case we're using like a burgundy dye to make it, which that dye might then be used to get more glass, more terracotta, and more concrete colors. But that whole burgundy dye thing is a topic for another video. This is all just very conceptual. Wait, hold on, I gotta test this out on my roof here. Does this look good? Ooh, that looks kind of cool actually. Now this next block I think was announced in Minecon 2018 when we talked about the Savannah biome update, and that block was the termite mound. Now, I think the termite mound is actually a really cool block. And why, you might ask? I think it looks like a cookie. Now, what would termites crawling out of the termite mound actually do? I don't know.
Where, like, they will go to sleep and you eat inside your food, like in real life, and make color a tree, right? Now, maybe you could, like, make a draw, and you could, like, I think it's a good idea if you get, like, maybe, like, 4 glasses, or I just, like, yeah, 4 glasses, and, one glass and one slab, and you make a jar, and you can get up to 6 bugs. Right, that means kind. You could have fireflies to the swarm, you have a variety. You could have bug flies, right? Fireflies to the flower places. Or you can get like tiny ones, and you can have like get termites. So you need to get the termites, and you can have your own farm, right? Where
I just think this looks like a cookie. I mean, come on now, I got my little plate right here, and cookie. Boom. What do we think, guys? Pretty cool block edition, right? No, but in all seriousness, Mojang announced this block, right? They were like, hey, this is a cool idea we have that would fit in with Minecraft, and then we just don't get it. I feel like that's kind of sad, so I added the term.
it's Microsoft, I don't know for Microsoft, but Mojang doesn't have to leave them. It's not just like, hey, we just added something. Like, it can't be like, hey, we just added like a trading, like a buying system. We actually have to buy and have a side house. But if they just add something, like the Phantom wasn't, supposed to be voted for it, which is actually our fault, and we're hating Minecraft, which I just don't think is cool. But like Mojang, Microsoft needs to be healthy. They can't just add stuff. Like, and big updates should be like hard for them, like big updates, like big games, are hard but to actually good. Because they do no small ones. It's like you don't get one big update, you get 4 small ones. Because there could be good ones or bad ones, right? Like you could get a big update where they have a new biome, or like just a goddamn new realm, it takes time. Or they could just add a new block, like maybe something like maybe a new color type of block, right? Like a new kind of block that no other one has, right? Like a dark purple, right? For the players and everyone, like who do you have? For ice skates, the customers, right?
Down to the savanna biome here. And yes, it looks like a cookie. It also kind of looks like a brown ore. Like, I feel like you could see this in the caves and not really bat an eye. You could be like, oh, well, that's just the cookie ore. Okay, now this might be the world's smallest windswept savanna, and it has a mangrove tree on it for some reason. But I think this biome right here, I think it deserves a cool new plant. And that block is stone crop. And this kind of looks like a fantasy version of a succulent. That was sort of the vision. That's why it's called stone crop, but I just thought it
like stone crop
would be really pretty if you're walking up to a windswept savanna and you see this like jagged stone cliff, and then you also see, one little flower up there, and it's a really pretty plant. So the idea is that, you try and traverse your way up the mountain. It's a little bit of a challenge to get to the stone crop. In reality, though, this is just an excuse for me to add another pretty plant to the game. I just like pretty plants, alright? Like, you really blame me? Minecraft does need more plants. Now take a look at...
Maybe the stone crop should be like, maybe a flower found from the sniffer, like a flower. Again, I think I said this before, like, the sniffer could sniff out olden stuff, like olden tools, maybe rules, like, or dirt, or like just new stuff, like they could find a stone or copper or iron tools, like very saturated, like the green stuff, or like maybe any type of flower.
This biome, the Badlands Plateau, and tell me what's wrong with it. What's wrong with it? I'll tell you, it's oak wood. That's what it is. I mean, this is basically an oak forest, just with dead bushes and coarse dirt. Like, that's lame. So my thought is, what if we just literally got rid of all the trees, and then added our own trees using this wood? What is this wood? Well, it's baobab wood. And instead of just measly oak trees on this plateau, imagine a bunch of baobab trees on this plateau. And it doesn't make sense. I'm pretty sure baobab trees grow in, like, sub-Saharan Africa, so not really up in a plateau. But it was just absolutely required that I add a...
There's an idea, man, right? Just like another biome, right? There's a new dirt, new stuff, there's a new mod, and village. Maybe it could be like more like old, like a tribe, like houses, or like it's still developing, like the village is still developing. It's like an angel, but with evolving
green wood to the game. Mojang is going to do it eventually, but I think this is what I would want. It has this sort of yellowish green color that we really, again, don't have in Minecraft at all. And so I think this is a perfect addition that Minecrafters have been asking for like years. When I think of the mesa, I think of terracotta, and terracotta in real life is much more widely used to like carve out pots and create interesting patterns and make little statues. But in Minecraft, this is all we got. So that's why I thought it would be cool to add a new type of block called terracotta panels. Now terracotta panels, I mean, it's essentially terracotta with like a cool pattern carved into it. That's really it. You might be able to use it as like a rug in a house, or it's also a good wallpaper block, or you can use it on roofs since it's kind of got that tiled texture to it that makes it look like it could be a roof tile. Now the eroded badlands are a whole different story. These are the badlands with those big spikes going up, and I thought it would be neat if you dig inside one of these rocks, you find this block called scarp rock. At a glance, it kind of looks just like desaturated resin, and I mean, it's kind of true. It's got this kind of darkish orange-brown.
Why still actually? I fucking remember we only got like 11 blocks is like the only orange blocks I think. If I think deeply, the extra orange blue only 20. And it says it's like you can find them, right? But like I know there must be other blocks, like the orange side blocks, but like orange blue is there? But I don't
color. But the point was that every single rock texture we have in Minecraft has like a cool pattern. This one feels like it's going side to side. This one looks like it's cracked. Top of deep slate looks like it's kind of sort of tiled. And scarp rock has a sort of vertical rock look. And that matches the vertical rock look of all the eroded badland spikes. But yeah, it's a pretty cool block. I imagine it's pretty similar in color to like mangrove and brown wool. So, you know, probably got lots of different uses. Now heading into the swamp, I had this concept for a swamp village. I think this would just fit naturally into Minecraft since we already have swamp villagers, and a block that would be nice to have in the swamp is tainted bricks, which just...
No, so, it's pretty cool of it. We don't even go like swamp villagers, but not swamp village. If you have like swamp villagers, we just go in the stuff, and it could be like, you know, the police is like a poor, like old Wi-Fi, like in the post something. Maybe, and I think it's the in like wolf, it's a wolf mod, like one of the hardest Minecraft things that you play with the police, you get these solo, like maybe get into full level and you get through wither stages with enemies, right? And like a good chance to get this, right? Like you trade within that full level, you get like a stop, like maybe like new trade stuff, like a plus like when you shoot spray to get this. Looking at this, because you need to travel around the way, right? So like, where you get another, where you get like, and you get like, nether skeletons, but, what's it called? Soul skeletons, I've got one, forgotten, anything, you know, because I will be sound like a racist, right, like, where you get the nether skeleton skulls, you trade it with enemies, and you get this soul skeleton, and the nether skeleton soul, its mouth is open, it's like 2 pixels high, right? All right, and you can see blue, and it's inside like a light blue stone slate, right? And you need to get closer, right? And you place the 3 soul vessels, nether skulls, put it on top of the and you get you get an updated, right, new wall wither, right? When it like explodes, it destroys blocks at 5 in a 5 radius, and for it they have like maybe 800 or 1,000 and a good amount of damage, and you can shoot at you and get never. So you get like wither rolls, withered skeletons attacking you, so you deal with them, and you can use genitals, blast, right, and there's more damage and has a shield, so you take down the shields first, which is like maybe 50 or 100 max. You can definitely, when you get a style, to get the beacon, right, which is hard, and you use that beacon, where you need to get like M crystals, 4 M crystals on each of the M crystals, right? You need to get the N, and you need to get the B and some of the indicator.
This is green brick, and if you're wondering how we get green bricks, it's from this new block, tainted algae. So the swamp kind of has 2 blocks in one. Now for tainted algae, I kind of just stole the green color from kelp blocks, since we don't really have many kelp block colored things in the game, but I imagine the algae would spawn on top of water like this, and I think it would give swamps just like another really cool look to them. Look at this guy, we already have swamp villagers, like why don't...
No, I think that the villages are simple. It could be like with the police. Like, they do have a blacksmith, but it's like, it isn't big, like, they just have one, and it's just vertical, right, they just use, like, they don't really need to use weapons, because they got weapons, maybe, the witch could help them, like, they have, so if the witch, and the priest could do something like a priest of like, where they could have, like, a miniature witch.
We have swamp village.
And if you, like, if you find a witch's spot, kill the witch, and the villager will hate you for a while, like if you don't kill, right? And you feel like slime ball and creatures.
Anyways, green bricks, we need them in the game. Green bricks, I just feel like it's absolutely necessary. And the other type of swamp in Minecraft is this mangrove swamp. And honestly, I love the mangrove swamps. I think they're really fun to explore and look around in. So what can we do to make it a little better? Well, the best idea I had is you take mangrove roots, you put 4 of them in a crafting grid, and you get weaved roots, which when you place these together, you get this really mesmerizing texture. It's like all the roots are weaved together. I think part of me just didn't like how mangrove roots are like transparent inside. I don't know, it's not my favorite thing in the world. So weaved roots, we get the...
Like, with these, it isn't good to make walls, maybe ceilings for like wood breaking, and walls, yes, so like, it carries on a logical music, it's mostly used for like plants, right?
That cool kind of color, but then it's like a solid block. Moving on to the river, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't really know what to add to the river because I feel like this is just more of an in-between biome. Like we have sunflower plains and flower forest right there. These biomes are much cooler, the river's just the thing you gotta cross. However, these guys right here, the salmon that spawn in the river, well, they don't have any homes. They don't have any place where they lay their eggs. So I mean, what if we just added salmon eggs to...
Like maybe they could lay it, but you need to get like cows, and you could feed the salmon, or feed, yes, and you feed the salmon, they lay eggs, right? With, yes, that's really like that, it could be like, I guess, you get baby salmon, and it's obviously you get baby.
Minecraft. Now in real life, salmon like to kind of lay their eggs under fallen logs or like in little shallow nests of gravel. So you can imagine it would be kind of cool to have some salmon eggs in these little areas. And it gives Mojang an excuse to update the rivers and maybe add something a little more interesting to them. Now the beach here is another one of those biomes I didn't really know what to add to it, so I had to get a little creative. And I've actually already made a video about this, but what if we had a new generated structure where they are digging up fossils on...
Maybe not use andesite, but you get adding blocks, a bone block of like collected, to get black bone blocks, see? Okay, like, where in PvP parts you get black bone blocks.
These beach biomes. And the fossils are just one aspect of it, giving a little more lore to Minecraft, but the real block being added here is apatite, which is apatite, not spelled like the one you have right now in your stomach, but apatite in real life is actually a pretty cool rock, and they often show up light blue, kind of like this. So I thought, what if we added it to Minecraft? It only spawns in beach biomes, and it looks just like diamonds. And of course, if we have apatite ore, we would get an apatite block, which also kind of looks like a diamond block. Though the fact that it's been since like 1.13 since we...
This is in the likeness actually, maybe fairy, this is over the land, this is like, this is actually like, this is a bit more dark.
Gotten any light blue blocks? I think it's about time. I think it's about time to get some light blue blocks. Apatite is such a cool block. And conveniently right next to our beach, we have the stony shore, which honestly, this biome is pretty much just good for if you want to find some quick iron or some copper. Otherwise, it really doesn't have any good use. Until now. That's because I added this block, shale. Now, shale is actually a really common rock in real life. It's kind of like mud, actually. It's that rock with like...
Okay, it's like clay. Now, all the clay, it's just I actually feel like it's being metal. It's just a mud. Because still, for like shells, the clay compost, and it feels like it look like it's the things maybe compost would be like this part here,
those layers where you can like kind of tear it off super easily. Anyways, I feel like I don't really need to explain myself. This is a really cool color. We love more rocks in the game. You can never have enough gray blocks in Minecraft. This is a really cool... color. We love more rocks in the game. You can never have enough gray blocks in Minecraft, and it's got stair, slab, and wall variants, which is much better than calcite can ever say. So give it to me, Mojang. Like, when are we adding this? Thank you. And you know how we got these Nautilus guys in a recent update? Well, I actually think it's pretty lame that when you kill them, you only have a chance to get a Nautilus shell. I think it should drop Nautilus shards, and then you're able to craft nautical bricks. I've got to be honest, this has got to be like my favorite block we've gone ahead and added into this mod. I mean, come on, look at this. This is such a cool pattern. Not only does it have a really cool pattern, but I thought it would look really nicely with something like white terracotta or cherry wood, which is kind of a notorious block to be really hard to work with. I mean, these blocks are just made for each other. And I think nautical bricks would add into that gradient really nicely. And now we're in the deep ocean, and this is another one of those biomes where I'm just like, it's very forgettable. You kind of just go past it. There's nothing really unique about it. It's kind of just a subcategory of ocean. But what if in the deep ocean you swam down some of these holes, and I'm going to turn on the gamma real quick, you find sea stone, which is this very peculiar dark purple looking block, and it has this really cool wavy scaly pattern which fits the ocean, but you also might think this is like scales on a sea serpent or whatever. Anyways, taking this block to the surface so you can get a better look, I just added it on this roof here, and it's kind of cool. You can see it has this very elegant purple looking color to it, and as you've probably come to understand, I like to add blocks that have colors that we don't have in the game. I think the darkest blue we have is like blue glazed terracotta or blue concrete or something, but this is like leagues darker. I guess maybe Skulk is darker blue if you want to consider that dark blue, and maybe the respawn anchor is kind of like a dark bluish purple. And I actually did a video where we looked at which is the most common color in Minecraft in terms of the blocks, and I think we found that dark blue was like one of the least common, or maybe it was literally, and I think we found that dark blue was like one of the least common. Or maybe it was literally the least common. I'll pop up the video, but yeah, it just goes to show that we need more stuff like this. Now, the Warm Ocean is a really cool biome, and it's already got so many different blocks with the coral reefs. Now, the Warm Ocean is a really common. I'll pop up the...
I can't see that many orange blocks. I feel like we're gonna add
the video, but yeah, it just goes to show that we need more stuff like this. Now, the Warm Ocean is a really cool biome, and it's already got so many different blocks with the coral reefs. I mean, we got the tube corals, we got the bubble corals, got all these different blocks, and then they turn gray and give you more gray blocks. Like, it's pretty awesome. However, I figured there was something we could add in the form of these bubbler columns, which kind of look like giant tube corals, and they're basically these like cool pillars that, I mean, the side almost look like candy canes, and this pattern on top looks almost like a vent. I mean, check this out. This is my little spaceship design. Not only does this block look really good with purpur, that was very intentional, but I mean, come on, these look like little thrusters. Like, I'm always thinking of the fun building potential with blocks, and for one, purpur, like, it's just so difficult to build with purpur. Have you ever seen purpur look good? I mean, I have. It's really hard. So, I whipped up this little alien landscape, and I think the bubbler columns would look so cool with it, especially with this purpur gate right here. Now, believe it or not, this is a cold ocean. To me, it kind of just looks like a regular ocean, and that's sort of the problem. There's nothing distinct about the cold oceans. So for this biomes block, I thought of adding fluorescent sediment, which is this very bright green block. I mean, it's super bright green. If you saw this in your ocean, yeah, you just know you're in a cold ocean. And if I were better at programming, this block would probably have some really cool functions. But for now, it's just a regular old block. And why did I choose radioactive green for it? Because I thought it would look cool at the bottom of oceans. I mean, that's literally it. I do think this would work really well in like some dangerous looking science facility or research lab. This block is practically made to look like some sort of radioactive substance that you shouldn't touch, that's in like a weird looking vat. Now, the frozen ocean, this is like the epitome of a boring biome. There's not even kelp here. Like, you might find a few salmon, you find some icebergs, but that's it. Like, it's just a gravel floor. So let's go ahead and change that with this block called Moonstalks. And I thought it would be cool if it's like kelp. It's definitely kelp, but it's blue and it moves slower, because I feel like things move slower in the cold, icy biomes, you know? Now, obviously, I programmed these pretty poorly because they don't actually function like kelp yet and don't grow. But imagine swimming through the frozen ocean and there's actually this like bright blue plant. I think it would look super cool, and it would feel very alien for what this place is. Not to mention, the moonstalk kind of look like that fake plastic plant that you might put in your aquarium to make your fish feel less lonely and more alive. So, you know, bonus point. So we can get that look now in the game. Something that I think is cool on paper, but I don't actually like, is how prismarine changes its color. Over the course of like, I want to say 10 to 15 seconds, it goes from like this light blue color all the way to this purplish color. So here in the mushroom fields, I thought a cool block to add would be all the way to this purplish color. So here in the mushroom fields, I thought a cool block to add would be this block called Shroomstone, which is kind of like desaturated prismarine, except it doesn't change colors, so I think it would be a lot more usable. It's another case of we don't have many light blue blocks in the game, so I want to add more light blue blocks.
It's another idea for we get shelf food where they eat this like big stuff, with like nothing like that. We got shelf blocks, and we have and use them blocks and have like a bit more balance to it. You can bounce a bit more fast and it goes less fine, but it's like more rare, a few less than these red and something. And I think it'd be a cool if they add some chicken from my tomato. I don't know, a chicken, and you could just like an egg with like, which is like red spots.
The lush caves are honestly what make exploring the caves worth it. This place is beautiful, but there was one plant that was revealed in the official Lush Caves concept art that was never added. And I'll pop that image on screen just so you can see, but this is our version of that plant in Minecraft called the Blossom Vine. And it sort of looks like the Spore Blossom. I imagine the Blossom Vine was the early Spore Blossom like concept art, but I still think, you know, 2 pink flowers is better than 1 inside the Lush Caves, and from afar, I mean, that just looks great. Like, that just...
Ooh. You know, when we go down there, you know, but maybe like, if you go through there, leave one, yeah, but if you go maybe in the ground, you could, yeah, what could you put on the ground? Maybe an idea, which is like an orange block, maybe, or a yellow block, like, Like you could get the darker version of the world, it could be like in these tools, or up here, just to make it a bit more colourful, a bit more like original, but then you need to like this thing. These or whatever. And all these type of stones, right? They're the only type of stone that you could use to make buildings, or you can get hobby buildings, just like maybe a lead picture buildings, or new types of orange blocks. You can only find in your cave, right? They could be a big feather. The bigger thing is there's orange, black, white, and there's a stone near them.
Makes lush caves even more beautiful than they are. Not to mention, this block makes phenomenal decoration for your house or for your garden, whatever it may be. You know, more plants, we always need them. When the dripstone caves are added, pointed dripstone added a lot of new versatility to Minecraft, whether it be with farms or trapping or just something fun to explore in the caves. But this block, the dripstone block, it really kind of lacks. Now, we don't have stairs and slabs, and I think that's fine. Honestly, what we need is carved dripstone. And
we do carve, but not a lot of carve. Like, dripstone, like you get full dripstone.
This looks like regular dripstone, it's just, well, it's carved. So the side of this block has this really cool tiled pattern that maybe you'd see in like a dwarven fortress inside a cave. And the top has this really cool weaving tile brick pattern. It's pretty awesome. I would love to use this as my flooring personally. And in fact, here's what it would look like inside my castle hallway. And yeah, this is just a cool block. It's such a mesmerizing pattern. And now we have the deep dark, which I already think is a very complete biome. It already has so much going for it with the wardens, the skulk sensors, the skulk catalyst. I mean, it's just a cool biome. But what about a mushroom type block called the blind shroom? And this mushroom, when you step on it, it'll actually give you that warden darkness effect. But of course, it'll only give it to you for a couple of seconds. So once you step off of it, its effects wear off.
It could be added, but it's lost its 5 seconds. You can think city, and it makes 10 minutes actually somewhere. You see, the 3 things you got stones on it. I think in dark trees, the level this could be where Mojang, they get stone systems, they get some surrounding, like a roll up, we got dark leaves, for example, and we make sense of got these like amethyst with amethyst shards, that are like dark leaves, and these dark leaves, and the stones that maybe a different stuff, that kind of thing, so, right, and like, okay, like, and it just works for this one, right, when you remove, it's going back to the zombies, the skulk type zombies, aliens, skeletons, maybe cats, villages, like compared to villages, right? I forgot to right? So, maybe like villages of the babies, like really sitting to loot, knowledge that they say. Unbelievable already in all around, like in London. Is it more simple to stuff?
Just kind of adds another obstacle you have to avoid when you're in these caves, and then if you accidentally step on it, you might
make the
think, oh, I triggered a warden, even though it's just, oh, I stepped on a mushroom. The Nether has some of the coolest biomes in Minecraft, and there's a lot you could add here because it's very fantasy, but I actually decided to keep most of these very simple. And the block I thought to add to the Nether waste is actually something that would generate on bastions, the gilded blackstone shingles. At a glance, it just looks like gilded blackstone, but the idea is that they used to build the bastion roofs out of these gilded blackstone shingles, and so some bastions
clearly from some of our children that in the Nether, whether we like hang out with the hunting explodes, like where there's like nuclear radiation and the people are getting affected, children are going to be affected. Slowly exploding, Nether also feels like that. That's good, right? you can show the news. It makes the feeling that they need to, that they were trying to sit down and
Bastions would now generate with an extra layer of gilded blackstone on it. I think the bastions are a really cool structure. I just wish there were more variants, maybe some variants that looked a little less destroyed, and they could do that with gilded blackstone shingles. The Soul Sand Valley is a very creepy biome because, I mean, it's pretty much just a bunch of soil made of souls, so that kind of means I'm walking on deceased people, and to further contribute to this lore, I thought we could add soul spores, which is this very bright green block. It almost looks like XP, and that's because if you break it, you actually do get XP.
XP could actually be stronger for it, like this XP, you do get things like that. XP makes you get into making your XP comes from salaries and XP is not easy.
And yes, the idea is that this is experience from, you know, these deceased souls that are here in this biome. But the main reason I wanted to add this is because the Soul Sand Valley doesn't actually have a unique plant of its own. However, you may be able to find crimson root spawn in the Soul Sand Valley, which I think is kind of weird. Why don't we just have our own block for the Soul Sand Valley? Besides, this one makes much more sense considering the context of this biome. Additionally, in the overworld, this kind of looks like a head of lettuce if you use your imagination a little bit, which I think is something Mojang would do. They always like adding a lot of versatility with their blocks, and as a builder, I would definitely appreciate that. Now, like I said earlier, I really like the way the nether biomes look, especially the Crimson Forest. Even how dangerous it is my favorite biome in the nether. So since we have red nether bricks, why don't we have chiseled red nether bricks? And as you can see on this block, we have the piglin face right there. And this just kind of draws an homage to how the actual chiseled nether bricks have that skull pattern. Well, chiseled red nether bricks have a piglin face. So if you think about it, I'm not really adding any blocks to the Crimson Forest, I'm just giving you another block option to craft from materials you may get in the Crimson Forest. Now, since we have red nether bricks, of course we need blue nether bricks, and that's what the warp forest is for. These are blue nether bricks, and it's pretty obvious why these are added. I mean, come on now, we already have red nether bricks, we have a warped forest, so we need blue nether bricks. It just makes sense. But unfortunately, I don't think Mojang will ever add this, because we don't have a blue nether wart, and
you get some red, right? You becomes red, you get red. What about you just get blue nether bricks? You get this forest, right? And you get like really, like, yes, these bricks you get really nether bricks, but you get like blue nether bricks, and you get nether bricks, and then nether bricks here.
Need regular nether wart to craft red nether bricks. It covers another really necessary color that we're missing from the blocks in Minecraft. Heading into the Basalt Delta now, what is the one thing you see in the Basalt Delta like all the time? I don't know, it's kind of all around us. Yeah, it's these particles, these annoying gray particles that are just everywhere in the Basalt Delta. Well, it's kind of just going nowhere, and I think that looks like ash. So, why don't we actually add ash into the game and add ash layers? It just makes sense for the Basalt Delta since it's like raining them all the time. Plus, having more layers in the game would give us so much creative potential. I could see this block being used on like the edge of rivers to look like a sort of sandy gravel. And of course, it also just looks good in the Basalt Deltas to begin with. And our final stop is the end dimension. No doubt this video will become aged because the end dimension is going to get updated. Like when you come in here, there are like 2 blocks. Chorus plant and endstone. It's just like, it's missing so much. So Mojang, here's my block idea pitch. This right here is called buoy stone, and it does look very, very similar to endstone. It's got some very distinct differences, like endstone has a lot of craters on the top, whereas this one has a more smooth looking sandy texture. But anyways, its special purpose is that I figured it would spawn on the edge of end islands like this. So from afar it would kind of blend in, it would have this little bump right here. Now if you were in a sticky situation, buoy stone could actually save you in a lot of different ways. So you know, I can just ender pearl safely up there and boom, we're safe. I'm actually curious what you guys think of that idea. I thought it would be pretty cool to have another way to bring levitation to the overworld, besides, you know, bringing a shulker all the way to the overworld and then having it shoot you with its little bullet. What if instead you could just go ahead and mine some of this buoy stone and then bring it back to the overworld yourself? Now, know I didn't cover every single biome like the deep lukewarm ocean or the end barren highlands. I kind of just condensed a few biomes into one, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and this mod is...
Good idea, good idea. And we're going to do something where I talk about like an optic audio, like it's absolutely and it's not what we're talking about, good idea. The earlier you get check out Ash Day and my other video, and talking about anyway, I only have to say because I don't know why there is trying to stop